Hello? Is this thing on? Hey everyone, welcome back to my stream. I'm about to do something brand new for this stream. Oh, wait, there I am. Hey everyone. So, I took a bit of a break from streaming because I really wanted to get into PNG tubing. I want to get further, but for now, a PNGtuber model is really nice, and I'm pretty happy with where this is. So let's get into the usual thing that happens on these debut streams. I've gone through a full kind of rebrand. I think my stream layout looks a lot nicer now. But yes, let's do this thing. So first up, my name, it's Kyber, but many people will call me Cyber. I've gone by Cyber for a long time. I've got a lot of friends that'll call me Cyber if I invite them on streams. So yeah, I feel like it's interchangeable. I don't really care which one people call me. As for my age, I'm 30, and I hear that age is in demand, so I feel like it should be very, very nice for people to know that I am that old, I am in demand, and very, very important to get that out there for my own brand appeal. I'll add in. And in the real world, I work as a 3D animator. That's why I stream so late in my country, and why my times for America are very weird for streaming. But yes, I use that job to try and support myself. I want to try and use the money from that to get better at streaming, get better stream software, but no, I do want to make more of a habit of streaming, despite having a full-time job. As for my personality, as like a lot of VTubers and PNGtubers, they have like a gimmick. For me, I'm just being me. There's nothing too fancy going on there. I just want to have a good time. But I do have a gimmick planned for the future. That's going to come down way down the line. I just want to make sure that I am comfortable streaming first, and this is something that I'm like really enjoying, and then yeah, I'll go more full whole hog all the way in. Oh, and thank you for the follow, 101 Shades of Wonderful. I'm glad to know that's working now. I spent a lot of time trying to figure out how StreamerBot works, so that's very nice to know it's actually working. And yes, this is also on this slide. So things I want to stream. I'm very big into platformers, very big into RPGs. I love fighting games. I want to do all of those across my streams. Like those are where my main focuses will be. But I also want to try and do live events. So like the PlayStation State of Play that just passed. I really want to cover Evo. Evo is such a fun time of year for me, and I'd love to like build up an audience enough where I can stream that and have a good time sharing that with a lot of people. And let's get those out of the way now. And so, like, just generally, things that I like. Obviously, video games. Love video games. I'll be doing a lot of those on the stream. I also like anime and manga on the side. I keep up with weekly Shonen Jump uploads. I haven't kept up with this week's ones yet. I need to go and finish all of my latest chapters that have been coming out. Also, very big into wrestling. I just came back from a trip up to Brisbane because the AEW Grand Slam did an event over here. And I was like, you know what? I missed the WWE in Perth because that was way too expensive for my taste. But Brisbane is close enough that I can make that trip. So I went ahead and went to that, and that was a wonderful time. Like, I lost my voice singing Adam Copeland's theme song. I lost my voice doing Will Ospreay chants. it was so much fun going to that. And I'm so happy to hear that they're coming back next year despite the problems they had booking this year's event. Also, really like drawing. My PNGtuber I did myself, so it took me a little while. I'm not a great drawer, so this took me quite a while to get done, but I'm very happy with the result of it. And I do want to keep drawing and getting better at it, and it's just something that I've enjoyed all throughout my life doing. Also really love coffee. Before every stream, I have a glass of coffee made up. I have one right next to me right now. It's still very hot. I need that to get me through the streams this late at night to stay awake. Also, picture and video editing. I don't love Photoshop and Adobe, but I do enjoy using Photoshop to make shit posts and video editing as well. Adobe's the industry standard, so I just acquired Photoshop and Premiere, so I just mess around with those ones. How late is it for me? Right now it's 8:30 at night. Usually I get around to streaming around 8 p.m, 9 p.m. because I finish work at 6, and then it's like I have a little bit of a gap to have dinner, feed my dogs, just get myself in the mindset of wanting to stream, and then yeah, by that point it's like 8 or 9 o'clock, so I take it at that. And yeah, 2 a.m. right now in America, yeah. It's like 2 a.m, 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. I think for the other coast. It's very late for American standards, and I apologize to anyone that would in America that would want to watch me. I'll try to do Saturday and Sunday streams on my end to make up for that, like do them earlier in the day so it's like at a more reasonable time for America. But on weekdays, I gotta do it after work. I also really like cooking. Australia Day that just passed, I ended up being the barbecue chef, and that's great. I love doing that. I love making dinner whenever I get the chance. I'm just a very, very simple chef. I like the most fancy things I do is like spaghetti bolognese and lasagna and fried rice and stir fries. But I do enjoy cooking. I hate the hospitality business, so I've worked as a chef a few times and never again. It sucks. And yeah, I felt like everything on my likes list was getting a little too introverted and indoorsy, so I decided to throw in right at the end, I like bowling. I like going out and bowling with friends. It's a very fun time doing that. It's an outdoor activity that's still indoors, which is very bad for this. I wanted to try and do an extroverted hobby of mine, but you know what? Spending time with friends is great. I love doing that. And most importantly, for my likes, dogs. I love dogs. I have 3 of them. One of them will appear very consistently throughout my streams. If you've ever watched my other streams beforehand, you will hear my dog bark all throughout them because it gets late at night and he needs to go outside. So he will interrupt me streaming for me to go open the back door for him. And yeah, no, you'll definitely hear my little dog go off at me every now and then. But I love my dogs to bits. We have 3 of them here. Yeah, dogs are great. Now, onto some of my favorite games. I really love Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts has shaped so much of my personality. You have no idea that series has dug its way into my brain. So much of my taste is shaped around Kingdom Hearts and what it does and represents as a series. Everyone will go off about the power of friendship. I love that shit in so many shows. Also Final Fantasy, because Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy kind of go hand in hand at this point. But no, I've been enjoying. Oh, sorry. I will be 1 second. Okay, I was hoping to avoid having a Be Right Back segment on this debut stream, but, you know, things happen. Anyway, I got into Final Fantasy through Kingdom Hearts. Like, I got introduced to a lot of the characters through Kingdom Hearts, and I was like, yeah, I should start going through the Final Fantasy series myself. What really convinced me to do that was seeing the trailers for 13 and Versus 13. And so, yeah, Versus 13. Very big Kingdom Hearts fan. Of course, I was interested in that. So, yeah, that one didn't shape out as well as I'd have liked. But you win some, you lose some. In the end, I ended up getting some really good Final Fantasy games I really enjoy after getting into the series. And I do want to visit the ones I haven't finished yet, like mostly the 2D ones. Also, my personality was shaped a lot by the Sonic the Hedgehog series. I'm not gonna put 15 on the list. I'm just gonna say Final Fantasy broadly. We'll get to a 15 discussion later. But yes, Sonic the Hedgehog also dug its way into my head and shaped so much of my personality. Love that series to bits. It has some very, very bad games. But I got introduced there with Sonic Heroes, and so I am a staunch defender of that game, even though it's got a lot of problems. I love that game dearly. And Shadow the Hedgehog, peak character, one of the greatest characters in all of fiction, only toppled by like one other, which I'll get to later. Also big fan of the Like a Dragon series, but more so from the outside. Because Like a Dragon, I've only played 0, 3, and 4, which is a weird order to play those games. But I enjoy those ones a lot, and I've been really, really meaning to go through the Like a Dragon series, but I don't want to put things into the ether too much, but I feel like that's a series I'm going to want to do on stream at some point. But that's for future me to work out. And as you can hear from the background music, also a big fan of the Persona games. Persona 4 and 5 are some of the best RPGs for me. I also really like Persona 3, but not as much as those two. Like, I think Persona 3 is a great game, but I played FES and it's aged a little bit. Maybe Reload will make it a lot better, but yeah, no, from 3 onwards, it is a great series, and I did finish Metaphor last year. Metaphor was also fantastic. I could probably just put Atlas umbrella underneath that. So yeah, Atlas RPGs, really enjoyed those. I'll get into SMT proper one day, I swear. Please don't attack me, SMT heads. Devil May Cry series is the king of action games as far as I'm concerned. Virgil is the greatest character in all of fiction. He is the one that is above Shadow the Hedgehog. But fantastic set of games. I've been itching to replay those games for a long time now. I feel like I'm due for a replay of the DMC series, and I am really waiting for DMC 6 or a DMC 1 remake that's being rumored. I need something new in my veins because Devil May Cry 5 was a long time ago at this point. Tekken series, grew up with that one. Tekken 3 was my childhood game. Tekken 5 was like my adolescence game, and now I'm really into Tekken 8. Yeah, no, fantastic fighting game series. Love that one. Sorry, bit of an interruption. The Crash Bandicoot PS1 games. Love that original trilogy. Crash Bandicoot 3 is my greatest game of all time. I played it last year for my birthday stream. I could spend a lot of time talking about those, but I don't want to spend too much time talking about them. But no, they were my childhood. Crash Bandicoot through the PS1 and PS2 was my childhood, but the PS2 games don't really hold up. But the PS1 games are they're just classics. I can go back to any of them and have a fantastic time with them. Even Crash Bash and CTR, I love those games too. Crash Team Racing 2 me is one of the best racing games ever made. The Gravity Rush games, I love Gravity Rush 1 and 2. A lot of people are really hung up on 2, but I feel like that was one of the PS4's best games. It has a few issues with how rushed the ending gets, and the Raven DLC is very weird. But no, I really enjoy these games. Cat is a really fun character and protagonist. Cat is a great rival character and friend character, and they're just very cozy games to play. I really like them. And Bayonetta, but 1 specifically. I'm not big on 2. 3 was a big disappointment, but Bayonetta 1 is up there with the Devil May Cry games as like the peak of the genre. I really enjoy that game. I platinumed the evil, disgusting PS3 version of that game. So I feel like I have a horse in this race of Bayonetta 1 being a very good game. And as for anime and manga, grew up on Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball will always be in my heart. I need to catch up with Daima, but I will be binge watching that because it's very close to finishing. But Z specifically has a very important place in my heart, and I love that series to bits. And then also on that like same sort of mindset of the Kingdom Hearts games having like the power of friendship, Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann having like the power of self-belief and growing with every new day and every step forward absolutely kills me. I love that shit so much, and TTGL is like one of the greatest animes of all time to me. One Punch Man also just, the anime, well, season 1 specifically, looks really good. Murata's manga version of One Punch Man is fantastically drawn. I need to go and read the webcomic version of One Punch Man, but everything that I've seen of One Punch Man so far it's phenomenal. Artwork's great. Jokes are fantastic and on point. It's a really fun read, and the first season is a really good watch. I've heard terrible things about number 2, so I kind of avoided that. Naruto also just kind of like, it's got issues, but I grew up with it and now it's stuck with me and I do really enjoy it. Despite the war taking up 1/3 of that series. And more recent stuff. Sakamoto Days, Kagurobachi, and Akane Banashi. I've been reading those mangas since they started on Weekly Shonen Jump and the Viz app, and they've became instant favorites for me. Every single one of those has been phenomenal with every chapter that's released. I'm so glad that the Kagurobachi meme of it, like people hyping it up, actually did live up to the hype, because if that had gotten axed because of too many people memeing on it, I would have been really, really disappointed and upset. But every week that manga delivers again and again and again. And then JoJo. JoJo is fantastic all throughout. I do have my preferences for parts. I may talk about those. I'll talk about them now if asked, but otherwise it might come up later on. But no, I feel like every part of JoJo is fantastic, and I binge read like the first 7 parts of that when I was catching up on JoJo, and yeah, Arake's a fantastic writer. And I didn't actually make a dislike list of games, so to get into what Jade said about not seeing Final Fantasy 15 on the list of faves, that's definitely on a list of most disliked games and biggest disappointments. You know what? Let's do that live. Oh, don't need that. Yeah, I this entire PowerPoint I'm doing in Photoshop as well, because I didn't know how else to properly handle this. So yes, let's get into hated games. So, DMC Devil May Cry. Just an abject not even disappointment, just an abject insult to the Devil May Cry series. the lead up, I was there for the lead up to this game. I was on the ground floor, like, as they were doing interviews for this game and just shit talking the original series the entire time. I could not stand this game at all. It's a complete piece of shit, and I will revisit it when I do a Devil May Cry revisit. I need to just put that one to bed. I'm also very upset with myself that this is the only Devil May Cry game I have gotten a platinum trophy in. And then, as Shade said, Final Fantasy 15. I don't have the words for this. I waited 10 years for this game, and it didn't live up to expectations. It was over the moments that the Dustgate demo came out, and they did a I think they were called active time reports at the time, when Tabata was like, yeah, no, so we got rid of Stella, we've made this new character named Luna who has the same middle and last name as Stella did anyway. And yeah, no, Final Fantasy Versus 13 is dead. This is Final Fantasy 15 now. And with that statement, I was shattered. I still bought the Ultimate Collector's Edition anyway because I had waited so long I had to get the big bad edition of the game. And I did not enjoy a single minute of this game at launch. I hear the Royal Edition has fixed so much stuff, but I just can't do it. Platinum Trophy for which game? Because, I platinumed both of these games that I hate. They were spite platinums. Though, they were on my old account. I could do them on my new account, but I don't wanna. Yeah, I'm sorry, I beat you to the content punch by, 9 years? God, this game is... Come, what, October? Final Fantasy 15 is gonna be 9 years old. I'd say I'd need to get out of here, but I still got a job to do with this stream. Okay. Another hated game. Oh, this one's recent. Dragon's Dogma 2. Oh man, this game... It was fine when Dragon's Dogma 1 felt like an unfinished game that had a lot of good ideas that it didn't fully deliver on. Because it's like, okay, this is the first attempt. There was issues with development. We all know that the game got cut in half and then cut in half again. So when Dragon's Dogma 2 was like, yeah, no, we made Dragon's Dogma 2 4 times the size of Dragon's Dogma 1, it was like, oh, thank God, you're doing the original vision of the game. They did not do the original vision of the game. They just made as much content as Dragon's Dogma 1 had in a map 4 times the size of Dragon's Dogma 1. A lot of things still feel very unfinished. A lot of NPC storylines feel like they stop at a really weird point. And yeah, no, this was a very disappointing game. There's less enemy variety than the original game, and it's still one of those games that feels good to play, but the content isn't there. And when you do it a second time, I'm less forgiving than when you do it the first time. So yeah, Dragon's Dogma 2 ended up being in my, like, not so much hated, but it's one of my biggest disappointments in a game in recent memory. And I think for one final one I will do, let's do Street Fighter 5, just because of how they handled the launch of that game. That Street Fighter 5 was kind of an insult to the fighting game releases. It had so little content. It really wanted you to grind if you wanted to play it for free for the DLCs, and I'm doing that in quotation marks. Yeah, no, everyone knows how bad the launch of Street Fighter 5 went, and I don't think I can do a lot to add to that conversation. But yeah, I'd put that up there as well. Yeah, let's move on from hated games. Let's try to keep things positive for a little bit. So, what are my goals as a streamer? Well, first of all, I want to be more consistent at streaming. When I was doing this before, I'd take like large gaps between, like I'd finish a game and then I'd disappear for 3 to 6 months and then I'd come back and do a new game. And that's not good. So I want to be more consistent about this. I want to be able to do multiple streams a week. I want to be able to go from one game to the next pretty easily without too much issues. So yeah, I just... the whole point of me doing a PNGtuber was just to try and be more consistent. And I also want to keep growing and make a bigger identity for myself because I don't want to rely on Beneath the Mask being a background track. Like, as good as a background track it is, I'd like to have something that's more of an identity to myself than just borrowing from video games all the time. And if I really do become more consistent and really enjoy doing PNG tubing, then I do want to become a fully fledged VTuber with a 3D model and everything, like just go big and pizzazz. And if that happens, that's when I'll introduce like the gimmick I want to run with my character. But that's further down the line. I'd like to meet other PNG tubers and VTubers and yeah, just people in general, and I'd like to do collabs if people enjoy my company. And I know a big thing in VTuber culture is all of the VTubers singing. I don't think I have the chops for singing. I could probably take lessons, but I always really liked guitar. I used to know how to play guitar a little bit in high school, like very beginner to intermediate area, and that's all gone from me now. So I'd really like to relearn that, and I guess I'd instead of focusing on singing, I'd be focusing on an instrument for myself. And that feels like it'd be a really fun thing to do. And finishing things off, what are my immediate plans? Because today I just wanted to kind of do like an introduction stream, just kind of like, I just got back from a weekend of going to an AEW show. My voice is still a little bit gone, so it's not all back yet. But I do want to do a stream tomorrow night. And first not big project, but the first thing I want to get into, I'll play Penny's Big Breakaway. I bought this game last year when it came out, and I always had the intention of doing this as a stream game. So yeah, no, I think this will be a good way to ease into PNG tubing, and from what I hear, this is a pretty fun game, so I do want to get into it and give that one a go. But I did leave a big space on that right there. I signed up for the beta of Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, and it just kind of lined up with being the same week as my debut. So if I get a code, I'll do a stream or two of that to see how that game goes. So yeah, immediate plans, Penny's Big Breakaway, maybe Sonic Racing Cross Worlds if I get into that beta, but it's just going to be two smaller things to kind of like ease myself into the whole idea of streaming again. And yeah, I think that's about everything I want to cover. All of my assets and PNGtuber and stuff are all by me. I'm very self-sufficient at the moment. I'd like to have someone more professional handle these things, but I don't have the connections or the money. So I'm just kind of freeballing this stuff and doing it all myself for now. But yeah, no, I feel like this is going to be a very fun thing to get into, and I'm really going to. I feel like I'm really going to enjoy doing this. I did enjoy the handful of streams I've done before, and I feel like putting a PNG model on top of my stream to just kind of represent myself is just going to make this more fun for myself, and maybe be a bit more fun for people coming in and watching. But yeah, if there's anything else anyone wants me to cover here, I'm all ears. Otherwise, I feel like this is a good enough time to stop. I'll give chat a couple of seconds to see if anyone comes in. Okay, I think that's going to be it for today. Yeah, thank you for coming out and watching. I do see I have a few viewers, so it is nice to have a few people in here watching, even if it's lurking. And I did, you know, beat down Shade's request for stream ideas, but you know, those things happen when I play games so much of my life. If I am convinced enough to do it, I will platinum DMC the DMC and Final Fantasy 15 on stream. But those will come with a price. But yeah, for everyone that came by, thank you. Thank you so much for watching. And I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.